Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another installment of the Now Review. And today we're going to be looking at the next installment in a series that I've had particular interest in. We're going to be taking a look at Now 12-inch 80s 1982 Part 1. So yes, this is the third in this particular line, focusing on 12-inch remixes, 12-inch hits being, of course, more, bigger singles back in the day, but they were extended, often to a really long length to be played in clubs often. But I really like the concept of the 12-inch single, and the 80s was really where it thrived, in my view. It did exist in the 70s, but I think the 80s is where it truly came into its own. So we've reached 1982, and they've clearly deemed it such a year of importance and sheer amount of 12 inches that they're going to split this into two parts, which is pretty crazy. So this is part one. Let's have a look at the cover. Lovely blend here of pinks, yellows, and oranges. That's just a really cool color there. That makes me think of summer, ironically. Like, you know those ice lollies you used to get that blended that color as well? That's the kind of vibe I'm going for here. It's really warm, really cool. Big fan of that. You've got that little equalizer, or like the sound symbols down there on the bottom left in nice pink. Part 1 is in the bottom right. It's quite small. I'm surprised it wasn't underneath the main logo here, which again still uses the sort of that early digital clock style thing for the year, which is pretty cool. But yeah, surprised Part 1's quite small and tucked away, but maybe they just want people to pick this up because it's 1982 alone. It's a 4-disc album, so it's in the now traditional cardboard fold-out style. You can see from the spine there. Again, I love that they incorporate the digital clock into the spine. It's a small thing, but I really like it. And you can see that part 1 stands out a bit more there in bright yellow. So I'm assuming this is going to be 2 parts. God forbid if it's more. But let's flip this on over and take a look, as ever, at that all-important 12-inch track list. So CD1 kicks off with the Human League and the extended version of Mirror Man. Then you have Duran Duran with Rio Part 2, apparently. Spandau Ballet with Instinction, the remix. You have ABC with The Look of Love Part 1, this is the 12-inch special remix. Soft Cell with What, again the extended version. Visage with The Damn Don't Cry, the dance mix. Ultravox with Reap the Wild Wind, the extended version. Japan with Life in Tokyo, again the extended remix. Gary Newman with Music for Chameleons, the extended version. Blancmange with Living on the Ceiling, the extended version. Thompson Twins with Lies Bigger and Better. Talk Talk with Talk Talk, the extended mix. And we round off with Tears for Fears and Pale Shelter, the long version. So 13 tracks there. You might notice on these releases there's normally like 20 tracks, per disc on a now release, but because they're extended, they're taking up more time, there's less. So let's go on to CD2 now. We've got Carly Simon with Why, the full-length version. Rocker's Revenge feat Donny Calvin with Walking on Sunshine, the 12-inch version. And no, it's not that Walking on Sunshine you're thinking of. George Clinton with Loopzilla, the full-length version. Bohannon feat Dr. Perry Johnson with Let's Start to Dance Again, the full-length album version. Took me a minute there. Hey C Fantasy with John Wayne's Big Leggy, the groovy long version. What a title. Bow Wow Wow with Go Wild in the Country, the 12-inch version. Culture Club with I'm Afraid of Me, the extended mix. Altered Images with See Those Eyes, the 12-inch version. Bananarama with one of their first songs released, Shy Boy, the extended version. The Masonettes with Heartache Avenue, the 12-inch version. The Bellstars, the Clapping Song, the extended 12-inch mix. And we round off with Bucks Fizz and one of their number one hits, My Camera Never Lies, the extended 12-inch version. Great song as well. So another 12 tracks there. We're on to 25. CD3 kicks off with Shalimar and the 12-inch mix of A Night to Remember. Then you have Donna Summer with Love Is in Control, Finger on the Trigger, that's the dance remix. The Boys Town Gang with Can't Take My Eyes Off You, the extended version. Patrick Cowley feats Sylvester with Do You Wanna Funk, the remix. Divine with Native Love, Step by Step, the extended version, love a bit of Divine. Odyssey with Inside Out, the 12-inch version. Imagination with Just an Illusion, the 12-inch version. Modern Romance with Best Years of Our Lives, the midnight mix. Spandau Ballet with Coffee Club, the remix. Daryl Hall and John Oates with I Can't Go For That, No Can Do, the extended club mix. Musical Youth with Pass the Dutchie, the 12-inch version. And we round off with Haircut 100 and Fantastic Day, again, the 12-inch version. So another 12, that means we're on 37. And last but not least, CD4 then, we have New Order with Temptation, the 12-inch version. Associates with Club Country, the 12-inch version. Suey and the Banshees with Fireworks, the 12-inch version. The Cure with Let's Go to Bed, the extended mix for 1982. Funboy 3 feat Bananarama, Tain't What You Do, Just Do It, the extended version. Trio with, here we go, Da da da, I don't love you, don't love me, aha, 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 the long version. Visage with the Anvil, the dance mix. Simple Minds with New Gold Dream, 81, 82, 83, 84, which is the German 12-inch remix. What a title. A Flock of Seagulls with Wishing If I Had a Photograph of You, the extended version. Thomas Dolby with Wind Power, always good to see Thomas on there, he often gets a bit overlooked. But this is Wind Power, the high-powered extended play. And we finished the whole album with Soft Cell once again, and Where the Heart Is, the 12-inch version. Which means we have 48 tracks across 4 different CDs, all of them presented in their 12-inch release form. I'll talk a bit more about the tracklist in just a sec, but let's open this album up, see what is presented inside. Adverts for the other 2 releases, of course, which is 12-inch 80s, 1980 and 81. Then we have the latest yearbook at the time of recording, which is now yearbook 88. And of course, now that's what I call 40 years, as they recently celebrated that anniversary. All of these, by the way, have Now Review episodes. You can go and check those out if you wish. And of course, follow Now on all their social medias like Facebook, X, Twitter, and YouTube. The discs themselves, they go in a gradient. You know, I love a gradient. So disc 1 is very pink. Disc 2 is more of a lighter pink, less full, I guess. Disc 3 is orange, and disc 4 is yellow. So again, incorporating various tones that you see on the front cover, and I like it. I always think the pictures on the website make these look more vibrant than they actually are, but still, even seeing them in person, it's always nice to get discs with a variety of colours. They're not just copy and paste the same, and you know me by now, I'm a sucker for a gradient, and if they're going to continue making the covers like this, where it changes from one to another, then I really hope that continues for the discs as well. So in terms of the track list then, I'm really excited to delve into I mean, as I said, I'm a big fan of the 12-inch single concept, like having songs have extended versions, dance remix versions, you know, where they're like 5, 6, 7, or even longer. I'm a big fan and advocate for that. I must admit, though, most of my love of the 12-inch single comes from like the mid to late 80s. That's more my forte there. So a lot of these songs, of course, I'm familiar with in their standard version, but I'm not as familiar with when it comes to their 12-inch versions. Now, I'm aiming to continue purchasing this series just because I love the concept so much. But maybe have a look at the track list. If you're like me, maybe you only favour a particular part of the 1980s in terms of 12-inch remixes, then in that case, maybe you'll pass on this one. Or if you're a fan of the early 80s and the extended stuff, maybe you will get this one. It's really up to you and your own musical preferences. But again, I'm a big fan of just the concept alone, this 12-inch 80s line, and I really hope it continues and sees out the decade, and maybe we'll even go into the 90s as well, who knows. But if you want to grab it, it's all the usual places, HMV, Amazon, local music retailer, or supermarkets in some cases. It retails for about £10 or £11 depending on where you go. It's likely to be hanging around for a while. I don't think these are strictly limited editions, so you shouldn't have too much trouble in picking this up, even if you want to wait a little bit. But again, I just consider the track list, consider the year 1982. If you're good for the year, check the tracks. But a lot of these, I believe, will be making their way to CD for the first time, as a lot of 12-inch mixes stayed on vinyl for the longest time. More and more are coming to CD and indeed digital storefronts as the years go on, but I believe some of these are making their way to CD for the first time, which is always really exciting, and I hope they can still pull that out for the later releases in the decade. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please remember to leave a like on the video. It really helps us out. And let me know in the comments, are you going to be picking up this release? Is there any track that stands out to you, or are you going to pass on this one entirely? Subscribe to us here as well if you're brand new. We'd really love to have you with us. In the meantime, I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Now. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another spin on the turntable.